The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat. Without desire, there is no fire. The fire within can only come out when you really want it to. That's why the start of anything great is the moment that you decide you have to have it. That burning desire from within, that moment when you decide this is it, is the start of something great. Do whatever you can to find that spark, to get that fire within burning. Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. Nothing is over for the person who refuses to give up. There is no failure to the person who does not quit. There is only delayed success. If it isn't happening right away, do not quit. Have patience for the fact that it hasn't shown up yet, but be impatient in working toward it. Persist, and it will eventually be yours. Strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Opportunity often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Most people strive for a life of little or no struggle. No one seeks pain or challenges, and nor should they. But that is precisely where growth lies, in the challenges and the struggle that come from pushing for what you really want in life. Those who refuse to go after what they truly want in life have failed by default. Sure, they might avoid suffering through setbacks. They won't have to live with the embarrassment of failure, but they will have to live with something much worse, and that is regret. If you're really pushing to become the very best version of yourself, there is going to be failure, heartache, embarrassment, and everything in between. But if you refuse to quit and persist, not only will you succeed in getting your goal, you will earn something much more valuable: pride and character. Pride and character only come from growth, and growth only comes from pushing yourself. You can't buy it. You have to earn it. Tell me how you use your spare time and how you spend your money, and I will tell you where and what you will be in 10 years from now. How can you tell what your future will look like? Have a look at your daily habits. If they are strong, your future will be strong. If they are designed to move you toward a life you want, you will move toward that life. If they are not, you won't. You have to be intentional about how you spend your time and your money. Create a plan of daily action that will, over time, lead to strong habits, habits that will move you closer to your goals. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Goals are great, but without deadlines, there are wishes, hopes, dreams. Dreams can only come true if you get serious about them. And the first step to getting serious about your goals is to set a deadline for when you must achieve them. It should be difficult enough to reach, to get you moving immediately, but realistic enough to attain. It should be a struggle to attain, but not impossible. Another way of saying it is that the person you are right now should not be able to achieve it. You will have to grow into someone else entirely by pushing yourself in a positive way to make sure it's achieved. That is a goal. When defeat comes, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound. Rebuild those plans and set sail once more toward your coveted goal. Defeat comes to all of us. Most of us give up. Don't be like most. When temporary defeat visits you, take responsibility. What can you do better? How can you use the failure as a lesson? How can your plan or path be clearer next time around? Do not give up. Shock everyone with your persistence and staying power, then shock them with your results the second time around. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. There are no limits to the mind except those we acknowledge. Napoleon Hill believed there were no limits. Most of the greatest people in history refused to entertain the limits of the majority. If they did, they'd never have been great, and we perhaps never would know they existed. Refuse to accept the limits of your family, friends, or society. If it's never been done before, believe you can, be the first. If no one believes in you, be the one who starts it. It is very clear that mindset is the greatest asset you can have. If you want to do great things with your life, develop that mindset, believe in yourself, and become unstoppable. The ladder of success is never crowded at the top because most people settle before getting on the ladder. They settle in their job, they settle in their relationships, they settle in their health. They refuse to put in the effort at the start, and so their life, even just getting through the day, becomes a giant effort. Be one of the few who aren't afraid to take the harder path early on so you can enjoy the easier path later in life. Keep climbing that ladder, and when you get to the top, see if you can inspire someone else to work their way up too. It takes half your life before you discover life is a do-it-yourself project. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. This life of yours is exactly that. It's yours to create whatever you want of it. If you want a great body, that's your responsibility. If you want a great mindset, that's your responsibility. The government can tax you to the heels, but no one can tax your mind. That is always something you control. No one and no event can conquer you but yourself. Take care of your mind. There's nothing more important. Nurture it with positive thoughts, with teachings that help you grow, with anything and everything that makes you feel better and stronger as a human being. There is nothing more important. The way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge. Deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act on building the life you desire. Education comes from within. You get it by struggle and effort and thought. No one ever got ahead by acting like they knew everything about everything. Be humble enough to know you don't know everything. Be curious enough to seek new knowledge everywhere you go. In books, in teaching, and in everyone you speak with, there's always something to learn from everyone. Surround yourself with people who will either enhance your future or make you feel good in the present. You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command. Better tools will be found as you go. Along you, the power that turns your desire into reality is faith. Faith is the visualization and belief in the attainment of desire. Strengthen your faith by repeatedly affirming your goals with emotion and conviction. Speak your desires aloud, envision them realized, and let those mental images charge your subconscious with the energy necessary to transform thought into action. Without faith, your plans lack the vital force that propels them forward. Next, employ the principle of autosuggestion. Your mind is a garden. Plant seeds of positivity, water them with repetition, and watch them grow into habits of success. Each day, feed your subconscious with affirmations. I have the persistence to overcome obstacles. I am a magnet for opportunities. I will achieve my definite major purpose. Repeat these statements until they become your creed, for the subconscious mind acts upon the dominating thoughts you plant within it. Specialized knowledge is the third step toward riches. General knowledge, no matter how vast, will not attract money unless organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action. Seek out the information you need through books, courses, mentors, and then apply it strategically. Your accumulated knowledge must be put to work alongside your burning desire and unwavering faith. The mastery of specialized knowledge will set you apart from the crowd. Imagination is the workshop of the mind. Here, desire is shaped into plan. Cultivate both synthetic imagination, rearranging existing ideas into novel combinations, and creative imagination, the divine spark that brings entirely new concepts into being. Dare to dream beyond your current circumstances. Sketch out your plans, refine them, discard what doesn't work, and persist until you craft a blueprint robust enough to withstand setbacks and adaptable enough to seize unforeseen opportunities. Organized planning is the crystallization of desire into action. No man can succeed without a plan. Assemble a mastermind group, a circle of like-minded individuals who lend their brains and resources to your cause. Meet regularly to brainstorm, analyze results, and adjust your tactics. This alliance taps into the collective power of many minds, multiplying your personal energy and creativity. Remember, No one ever has enough prospects to succeed in any line of work without the cooperation of others. Decision, the mastery of procrastination, is essential. Indecision breeds doubt, fear, and delay, enemies of progress. Decide quickly and change your mind slowly. Train yourself to analyze every situation, weigh the facts, and then take decisive action. Even if your initial plan proves flawed, a timely decision allows you to pivot, learn, and advance. Hesitation cedes ground to rivals and leaves your potential unrealized. Persistence is a sustained effort necessary to induce faith and transform plans into action. When temporary defeat strikes, persist. The difference between success and failure often boils down to the ability to endure beyond the point where others give up. Cultivate the habit of persistence by combining willpower with desire so that your burning ambition overrides every doubt and negative influence. Each setback is merely a stepping stone to greater wisdom and resilience. Harness the power of the Mastermind Alliance as the ninth principle, a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage one to follow through with both plan and purpose. No individual may have great power without availing himself of the mastermind. Through harmonious collaboration, you tap into the third mind, an intelligence far greater than the sum of its parts. Above all, learn to transmute sexual energy into creative and productive outlets. The emotion of sex brings into being great power, love, and emotion, highly infectious and empowering. When expressed with control, fuels the imagination and drives more creative achievement than any other force. Elevate this primal energy by channeling it into your goals, using its intensity to fuel your plans and your persistence. Maintain a positive mental attitude. A negative attitude is like a curse that blocks all channels of supply. Positive thoughts will attract the opportunities and alliances you need. Train yourself to see the good in every situation, to turn adversity into advantage, and to radiate confidence that compels others to rally to your cause. The power and potential you possess are greater than any obstacle. The story of every great success reveals the same blueprint. A burning desire, fortified by faith, disciplined by autosuggestion, fueled by specialized knowledge, shaped by imagination, executed through organized planning, steered by prompt decision, fortified by the mastermind, energized through emotional transmutation, and sustained by a positive mental attitude. Commit yourself to these principles, for they are the keys to unlocking every door to abundance, achievement, and self-mastery. The secret of leverage lies in cooperation. No man is an island, and no one ever achieves true greatness alone. Whenever you find yourself confronted by a challenge too great to overcome, summon the strength of association. Seek out those whose skills complement your own. Form alliances with those who share your vision and hunger for success. Through their encouragement and critique, your ideas will sharpen. Through their resources and networks, your reach will expand. Treat your mastermind group not as a social club, but as a laboratory of progress. Bring problems to the table, apply rigorous analysis, and depart each meeting with an actionable plan, refined by the wisdom of many. Yet, the mastermind alone will not carry you across the finish line. You must learn the art of applied effort, the ability to channel your energies into carefully directed action. Do not confuse activity with productivity. 100 aimless tasks can exhaust you without moving you an inch closer to your goal. A single focused effort, executed with precision, can shatter obstacles and clear the path for all that follows. Each morning, identify the one task whose completion will make everything else easier or unnecessary. Then devote your first and finest hours to that task alone. Protect this sacred time from distractions, interruptions, and lesser urgencies. In this way, you will cultivate momentum, a force so potent that it carries you forward even when the initial spark of motivation flickers. Understand, too, the power of applied empathy. Success is built on relationships, customers, colleagues, creditors, and collaborators. To win their goodwill, you must first strive to understand their deepest needs and desires. Listen with the intent to learn, not merely to reply. Ask questions that reveal the true nature of their hopes and fears. Then Position your services, your product, or your guidance as the solution they have been seeking. When people feel heard and valued, they become your advocates, spreading your reputation by word of mouth and sending new opportunities to your door. The most effective sales strategy is not persuasion. It is the sincere desire to serve. Still, no strategy is foolproof without resilience. Even the most meticulous plan will encounter setbacks, market shifts, unforeseen expenses, personal trials. When adversity strikes, do not yield to despair. A mind steeped in the principles of success recognizes every setback as an invitation to adapt. Revisit your plans, but do not rewrite your purpose. Alter your tactics, but never your commitment to the end goal. Draw from your reservoir of persistence, that indomitable will that has carried you through previous storms. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure. The trials you endure today forge the unbreakable character you will display tomorrow. Cultivate an insatiable appetite for self-improvement. The world's most extraordinary achievers share a relentless curiosity, a compulsion to grow, learn, and evolve. When you read a book, extract its essence. What ideas can you apply immediately? When you attend a lecture, capture its insights. Which strategies can you implement this week? When you meet a stranger, discern their strengths. How might you incorporate their virtues into your own life? Keep a journal of lessons learned and actions taken. Review it monthly, celebrate your progress, and adjust your course where necessary. In this manner, you transform knowledge into wisdom and experience into mastery. Do not underestimate the value of generosity. The universe operates on a principle of reciprocation. The more you give, the more you receive. Extend help to those less fortunate. Share your time, your expertise, or a portion of your gains. Sponsor a scholarship, mentor a young aspirant, support a charitable cause. These acts of service not only elevate the lives of others, they enlarge your own network, polish your reputation, and attract abundance in ways that no transaction ever could. True wealth is not measured by what you possess, but by what you bestow. Above all, guard your mental environment. Your thoughts are like seeds. Plant negativity, and you harvest despair. Plant optimism, and you reap opportunity. Be vigilant against the creeping influence of doubt, envy, and fear. When such thoughts arise, confront them with reason. Examine their premise, expose their fallacy, and replace them with constructive convictions. Surround yourself, physically and digitally, with reminders of possibility, the image of a goal yet unmet, the testimony of a triumph, the affirmation of your own worth. Establish daily rituals, meditation, visualization, affirmations that fortify your mind's citadel against the siege of pessimism. Finally, internalize this. Your destiny lies not in external circumstances, but in your responses to them. A sudden market crash, a health scare, a personal betrayal, these will test you, but they will not define you. How you meet these trials, with panic or with poise, with surrender or with strategy, determines the course of your life. Rise each morning with renewed resolve, reaffirm your purpose, and advance with deliberate action. In time, the habits you hone, the alliances you forge, and the attitudes you adopt will combine to form an unstoppable force, one that can transcend fortune, shape your world, and leave an enduring legacy. This is the blueprint that underlies every great accomplishment, a focused desire, an unshakable faith, and a relentless pursuit of mastery, guided by collaboration, empathy, and resilience. Fueled by creativity, organized action, and a heart inclined towards service. Embrace these truths, live them daily, and witness how the universe conspires to support you. Your moment is now. Take the first step and march without hesitation toward the life you are destined to create. Let your mind become a finely tuned instrument, ever ready to perceive opportunity and sound the note of decisive action. Develop the habit of personal accountability each evening. Review every decision and every outcome of the day. Celebrate the victories, however small, and dissect the missteps without self-reproach. For analysis without blame is the gateway to improvement. Then, before sleep takes hold, visualize the tasks awaiting you, see yourself executing them with clarity and confidence, and drift into rest knowing your subconscious will marshal its resources on your behalf. Discipline your body as you discipline your mind. Physical vigor reinforces mental stamina, and a healthy routine of exercise, balanced nutrition, and restorative sleep creates the energy you need to sustain elevated effort. Schedule your workouts with the same reverence you reserve for business meetings. Treat your dietary choices as strategic investments in your vitality. Consider sleep not a luxury, but an essential tool for cognitive sharpness. When you respect your physical vessel, it responds by granting you longer focus, quicker recovery, and a resistance to the stress that debilitates the undisciplined. Harness the compound effect of small, consistent actions. Just as depositing a modest sum each day grows into substantial wealth over time, so too do incremental improvements in skill, network, and mindset accumulate until the gap between who you were and who you are becomes astonishingly wide. Read 10 pages of a high-value book daily. Reach out to one new contact each week. Meditate for 5 minutes each morning. These atomic habits may seem insignificant alone, but collectively they become the pillars of a life transformed. Master the art of time triage. Recognize that not all tasks hold equal weight, and ruthlessly prioritize those that align with your core objectives. Create a not-to-do list. Delegate or eliminate low-value activities that clutter your schedule and distract your focus. Guard your calendar as you would a sacred trust, and learn the liberating power of saying no. Every refusal clears space for a more meaningful yes, to projects that ignite your passion, to relationships that elevate your spirit, to innovations that shape your legacy. Cultivate emotional intelligence alongside intellectual acumen. Success is rarely a solo endeavor. It is achieved through influence, persuasion, and collaboration. Become adept at reading social cues, managing interpersonal tensions, and inspiring enthusiasm in others. Seek feedback, honest, unvarnished counsel from those you trust, and use it as a mirror to correct blind spots. By elevating your EQ, you not only smooth the path for your own ascent, but become the kind of leader who attracts loyalty, fosters creativity, and multiplies impact. Nurture an entrepreneurial mindset regardless of your formal role. Even within an organization, adopt the posture of an owner. Look for inefficiencies to remedy, for gaps in the market to exploit, for new revenue streams to ignite. Propose bold solutions rather than passively accepting the status quo. When you treat every challenge as an opportunity to create value, you position yourself as indispensable and open doors that complacent peers never even notice. Remember the power of narrative. People are moved by stories far more than by facts alone. Frame your ideas within compelling narratives that speak to emotions as well as intellect. Share your own journey, complete with struggles, doubts, and eventual triumphs, to humanize your message and forge genuine connections. Craft each presentation, each report, each conversation with the art of conflict and resolution. Establish the problem, introduce the quest, reveal the breakthrough, and invite your audience to become part of the unfolding saga. Guard against the two insidious thieves of progress, overconfidence and complacency. After every achievement, temper celebration with reflection. Ask yourself, what can go wrong next? Develop contingency plans and stress test your assumptions. Stay hungry by continually raising the bar. Once a goal is met, set a higher one, then another. The moment you believe you have arrived is the moment you cease to grow. Embed a culture of innovation in your daily habits. Challenge every "we've always done it this way" with a "why not try it this way?" Allocate regular blocks of time for creative exploration. Brainstorm new products, experiment with unconventional marketing angles, or learn a skill outside your comfort zone. By making innovation habitual rather than exceptional, you future-proof your relevance and maintain a competitive edge no matter how the landscape shifts. Never lose sight of the legacy you wish to leave. True fulfillment comes not from personal accolades alone, but from the enduring impact you have on others. mentor successors, share your wisdom freely, and invest in projects that outlive you, be it through charitable foundations, written works, or institutions you help establish. When your name is spoken, years from now, let it be associated not only with wealth or status, but with the positive transformation you sparked in individuals and communities. Ascend from desire to destiny by forging a life of purpose, precision, and perpetual progress. Let each day reflect your values through deliberate routines, strategic alliances, and unshakable resolve. Embrace hardships as sculptors of your character and wield your expanding sphere of influence with integrity and generosity. By integrating these principles into the very marrow of your being, you will not only achieve remarkable success, but catalyze a ripple effect of excellence that echoes far beyond your own achievements. The world waits for those bold enough to shape their fate, seize that mantle, and write your own chapter in the grand story of human accomplishment. And now, as you stand upon the threshold of your own potential, expand your vision beyond the confines of immediate success to embrace a higher calling. Let every decision be informed by a sense of stewardship. Recognize that your achievements are not solely for your own advancement, but are entrusted to you so that you might uplift others. Every victory, no matter how personal it feels, ripples outward. The client you serve more ethically, the employee you empower more generously, the community you strengthen more compassionately. When you adopt this mindset, success transforms from a solitary trophy into a shared triumph that elevates the human experience. Commit yourself to lifelong adaptability. The landscape of opportunity is ever shifting, driven by technological breakthroughs, cultural tides, and global currents. To thrive, you must cultivate a mindset that welcomes change as the very essence of progress. When you learn a new tool, a new language, or a new way of thinking, you not only future-proof your relevance, but also open channels to insights you could never have envisioned in yesterday's paradigm. Treat every disruption, whether a market upheaval or a personal setback, as a laboratory in which you can test your resilience, refine your strategies, and emerge with a keener edge. Develop what I call the global perspective. In a world bridged by instant communication and rapid travel, you have the privilege and the responsibility to see beyond parochial concerns, seek out voices from distant cultures, absorb philosophies that challenge your assumptions, and observe business models operating under different constraints. By weaving these varied threads into your own tapestry of knowledge, you gain the capacity to innovate on a scale that local thinkers cannot. You learn to anticipate shifts before they arrive on your doorstep and to craft solutions that resonate across borders. Practice mindful consumption of information. In the digital age, you are inundated with data, opinions, and endless entertainment. To preserve the sanctity of your mental space, curate what you allow into your consciousness. Become as selective with the books you read, the media you watch, and the conversations you join as you are with the meals you consume or the investments you make. Schedule daily information fasts, periods of intentional silence, from news feeds and social platforms, to recalibrate your focus, recharge your creativity, and ensure that every thought you entertain serves the architecture of your highest goals. Elevate your financial intelligence to match your intellectual and emotional mastery. Wealth is more than an outcome. It is a tool for influence, innovation, and legacy building. Learn the languages of investing, asset allocation, and risk management, not as abstract theories, but as practical skills that guide every dollar you earn, spend, or reinvest. Approach money with the curiosity of a scientist and the humility of a servant. Uncover the structures that create sustainable abundance. Then channel your resources toward initiatives that produce both profit and profound social benefit. Make holistic health central to your mission. Success achieved at the expense of well-being is a Pyrrhic victory. Integrate physical fitness, mental wellness, and spiritual alignment into a unified practice. Explore breathwork to anchor your nervous system. Adopt minimalist nutrition to optimize performance. And cultivate a reflective practice, whether meditation, prayer, or journaling, that keeps your soul aligned with your highest aspirations. When your body, mind, and spirit move in concert, you access a level of clarity and vigor that transcends ordinary effort. Invest in the power of mentorship, both as mentee and mentor. No one climbs the summit without guides who have scaled the heights before. Seek out those whose achievements inspire you and approach them with sincerity and respect. At the same time, offer your hard-earned wisdom to those climbing behind you. This two-way current of guidance not only accelerates your own growth, but also perpetuates a lineage of excellence that stretches into the future. Your role in this chain is sacred. Nourish it, and the impact of your influence multiplies with each successive generation. Embrace strategic risk-taking as a catalyst for breakthrough. Calculated gambles differentiate the status quo from seismic shifts. Identify areas where the potential upside vastly outweighs the downside, and marshal your resources to pursue these high-leverage bets. Then commit fully, execute with intensity, learn from every outcome, and refine your approach. Even a failed venture, when dissected with clarity, becomes a treasure trove of insights that propel your next endeavor to unprecedented heights. Foster a culture of radical candor in your teams and partnerships. In high-stakes environments, the courteous concealment of uncomfortable truths can be more destructive than overt conflict. Encourage honest feedback delivered with empathy, and cultivate the courage to speak hard realities to power, even your own. When transparency becomes the norm, your organization thrives on collective intelligence rather than hierarchical decree, and you gain the agility to outmaneuver stagnation and complacency. Anchor all your pursuits in a mission that transcends self-interest. When your work aligns with a purpose greater than profit, whether it's alleviating human suffering, preserving the planet, or advancing human knowledge, you tap into a wellspring of motivation that endures through every hardship. Your days become infused with meaning, and your legacy shifts from transient accomplishments to enduring contributions. People remember not the sum you earned, but the lives you touched, the barriers you broke, and the hope you inspired. So let this extended blueprint guide you. Weave stewardship, adaptability, global awareness, mindful consumption, financial acumen, holistic health, mentorship, strategic risk, radical candor, and transcendent purpose into the very fabric of your daily practice. In doing so, you will not only ascend to peaks of personal achievement, but will stand as an agent of transformation, one whose life story illuminates a path for countless others and whose ripple effects reshape the contours of our shared future. The call to greatness echoes for every soul bold enough to answer. May your response be the clarion that awakens the world. And now, as you stand on the brink of your greatest potential, remember that each principle you've assimilated is not a static trophy, but a living torch, one you must carry forward into every decision, every challenge, and every dawn. Embed these truths so deeply within your character that even under fire, your compass never wavers. Rise each day with the quiet confidence of one who knows their purpose and the fierce determination of one who will not be denied. Let your actions speak where words fall short. Let your integrity shine where shortcuts once beckoned. And let your legacy be measured, not by the heights you reach, but by the number of lives you elevate on your ascent. Now go, ignite your world, for it is yours to transform.